I hate canoes. I always worry they're going to tip over. Don't worry, then they'll be able to wear it on their heads. Why on earth would they wear it on their heads? 'Cause it'll be capsized.
A great silence fills this card. Those are the words of Rachel Pollack when she's describing the Six of Swords, and you can't deny it, there's definitely something quite eerie and unsettling about this image. According to Arthur Edward Waite in the Key to the Tarot, the card shows a ferryman carrying passengers in his punt to the further shore. The course is smooth, and seeing that the freight is light, it may be noted that the work is not beyond his strength. So he's deliberately making a point about how the water is calm and the swords don't weigh down the boat. That could indicate that we're referring to mental baggage here, the mind stuff that we carry with us throughout our lives. In one aspect, it can represent a physical journey, although not quite in the way that some might describe it. I've seen some people say that it means you're going on holiday. I don't think anyone in their right mind has ever looked at that image and thought, right, we better get some suntan lotion and Bermuda shorts, we're off to Marbella. We see the figures moving across a river to a distant shore. Rivers, lakes and oceans in the tarot are often taken as a symbol of the unconscious mind. On the 6, the river is calm, in contrast to the choppy waters we see on the 2 and the 5 of swords. I've always seen this one as indicating changes in our lives, so a kind of transition, but not quite in the same way as the death card back at number 13 in the trumps. That card is more about an evolutionary change and transformation. With the 6 of Swords, we're talking about moving from one situation to another, and that could very easily mean moving away from a negative place that's been a cause of pain or fear. The smooth course that Waite talks about can be the calm that comes when the storm is over, but the future is unclear and there's still uncertainty in the air. It's interesting that we also see a child huddled next to the figure in the boat. In a practical sense, this could illustrate someone taking themselves and their children away from an unhappy situation. It can also symbolize the inner child, that hidden part of ourselves that retains the childlike qualities and experiences from infancy. The other remaining figure on the card is the fella punting the boat across the water. He symbolizes someone who's helping the other subjects to move on from whatever it is they need to get away from. In a practical sense, that could be someone helping them move house or making the necessary arrangements. However, we can also see that in a psychological or spiritual sense. That figure could represent a therapist or spiritual mentor who's guiding the subject on a journey of self-discovery, or even just a friend who's offering support and listening. The 6 swords on the image can represent what we take with us when we leave, not just in a physical sense, but the mental baggage I was talking about earlier. Anyone who's been through a traumatic experience will tell you that it's not over when it's over. Trauma has a habit of staying with us and influencing our lives beyond the experience itself. In ways that we're not aware of, our behaviour is constantly affected by the things we've been through. Rachel Pollack says a strange and powerful image. This card, more than any other, illustrates how Pamela Smith's images reach beyond Arthur Waite's formulas. She discusses Waite's divinatory meanings, which we'll get to later, but also how Pixie's illustration takes us on a much longer journey. She says the picture of a ferryboat at twilight carrying figures to a wooded isle suggests a more spiritual journey. In myth, Charon carrying the dead across the river Styx.
Sharon? I used to go out with a girl called Sharon. Don't remember her being interested in boats.
A brief history of Charon the ferryman.
In Greek mythology, Charon is the ferryman of the underworld, who transports the souls of the recently deceased across the river Styx, from the physical world to the afterlife. Often depicted as a dark, grim and silent figure, Charon would expect payment from the departed in the form of coin. From here came the custom of placing a coin in the mouths of expired corpses in order to pay the ferryman for a safe passage.
What are you doing? I'm still alive!
It was thought that anyone who couldn't afford to pay Charon for his services would be doomed to wander the shores of the river Styx for 100 years before being allowed to cross.
Oh, come on. I'll pay you back when I get there.
The Thoth card has got 6 fencing swords, all pointing to a cross in the centre, but it's all looking a bit chaotic in the background. Crowley says the hilts of the sword, which are very ornamental, are in the form of a hexagram. Their points touch the outer petals of a red rose upon a golden cross of 6 squares, thus showing the rosy cross as the central secret of scientific truth. So the rosy cross he's referring to is something that I've talked about before, but it sits at the centre of the Rose Cross Lamen. This was the symbol that was worn by adepts in the inner order of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. According to Israel Regardie, the Rose Cross represents the great work, the occult tradition of working our way up the spiritual path to self-transcendence, or the Fool's Journey as it's also known. Crowley goes on to say the perfect balance of all mental and moral faculties, hardly one and almost impossible to hold in an ever-changing world, declares the idea of science in its fullest interpretation. We all know exactly what to expect from the Sforza and Marseille cards: 6 swords and a few flowers. The Solar Busker sees the return of Captain Underpants. He's really making a meal out of shifting those swords around.
Let us expose moreover with the 6 of swords through only the roughest and most persistent of work that our globe 6 is just beyond our reach.
Oh, bugger. I really wanted that globe as well. I wonder what it's made of.
Northern meat.
The Hermetic title for the Six of Swords is Lord of Earned Success.
Earned success. I'll be honest, I'm struggling to connect that title with the image on the Waite-Smith card. Never mind, maybe the title of the Thoth card can help us shine some light on it.
That would be science.
Science. Well, if you're looking for consistency, I'm afraid you're not going to find it with the 6 of Swords. But we could say that moving on from a bad situation takes a lot of courage and determination, so in that sense, earned success could be an appropriate title.
I see the mental gymnastics are doing a lot of heavy lifting again.
Alright, I'm doing my best. Anyway, luckily Milo Duquette came to my rescue yet again when it comes to the Thoth card. He says someone with Mercury and Aquarius in his or her natal horoscope is said to have a keen analytical mind and an extraordinary ability to concentrate. He or she is also intensely curious and enjoys examining both sides of a question. Sounds like a scientist, doesn't it?
The Six of Swords corresponds to the Aquarius zodiac sign and to the planet Mercury.
So we've still got the carrier of the cosmic water jug, but now he's joined by Mercury, planet of reason, rationality and communication. When these two get together, it's a very intelligent coupling, the smart-ass section of the zodiac. Aquarius works really well with the 6 of Swords because it's a sign of forward thinking, and that's something we need to employ if we're considering making an important change in our lives. However, it can also be quite an impulsive sign, but when we pair it up with Mercury, we get a calmer and more considered version of Aquarius. Moving from one situation to another can involve a lot of communication, and that's where Mercury really comes into its own. 6 of Swords celebrities include former US President Franklin D. Roosevelt, Sex Pistol Johnny Rotten, and he's coming in the air tonight, Phil Collins. You get arrested for that round here.
The Six of Swords resides at the world of Yetzirah and sits at the 6th Sephira of Tiferet on the Pillar of Mildness.
We're back at Tiferet, so perhaps we do need that suntan lotion after all. The Sunny Sephira is slap bang in the middle of the Tree of Life and represents the perfect combination of Hesed and Geberah. That means we get a harmonious blend of severity and mercy, which manifests itself as beauty. Now, in the last episode, I cocked up.
Surely not.
Yep, I know it's hard to believe, but sometimes I get things wrong.
It's hard to believe you ever get it right.
I said that the pillars get their names from the middle Sephira on each, but the middle pillar is called the Pillar of Mildness, and there is no Sephira for mildness, so slaps for that. However, Tiferet also represents harmony, or beauty resulting from harmony, so in a way the combining force of mercy and severity does still give us that concept of mildness. It connects to the 6 of Swords in the sense that we're moving away from difficulties and towards a more peaceful and balanced state. According to Dion Fortune, Tiferet is illuminated consciousness, the highest aspect of the personality with which the individuality has coalesced. This is the condition which really constitutes initiation. It is the consciousness of the higher self brought through into the personality.
The 6 of Swords herb is vervain. Historically, this herb has been used as a charm against witchcraft.
How long does it take a witch to change a light bulb?
Depends what I'm changing it into.
But what does it all mean?
The 6 of Swords has quite a few different meanings. Again, it all depends on the context and the other cards it appears within a spread. Waite says journey by water, route, way, envoy, commissionary, expedient. So you can see why some people interpret that as going away on your hollybobs, but the card goes much deeper. We talked earlier about how it can mean moving on from a challenging situation, so in this sense the card can be telling you that it's time to make that change and do what needs to be done. It can also refer to acceptance and dealing with our problems in a calm manner. In this respect it connects to the Queen of Swords, which we'll be getting to later in the series. Rachel Pollack says, though we carry our troubles with us, we have adapted to them. They will not sink us or bear us down. Another aspect is the idea of a spiritual or psychological journey, a time when we make progress along the path to healing. She goes on to say there is another less disturbing meaning, that of a quiet passage, physically or spiritually, a time of easy transition.
This certificate predicts you a fun trip of great parties of pleasure, such as a wedding, balls, and magnificent shows.
Now that sounds like a much more exciting journey.
However, if this card is next to the 4, it warns that you will fear being attacked by a gang of thieves.
Hands up, give me all your money.
You can't do this. I'm a member of Parliament.
In that case, give me all my money. When the Six of Swords appears reversed, it can mean that the waters are no longer calm and the journey becomes more challenging. Waite says reversed, declaration, confession, publicity. One account says that it's a proposal of love. Okay, no idea where that's coming from, but the declaration and confession part can mean that we're no longer accepting the situation and we're ready to stand up and rock the boat. That can mean that there'll be conflict initially, but sometimes that's the only way to get where we need to go. Rachel Pollack says, seen in one way, the balance and peace become disturbed. The passage is no longer serene, for the water, symbol of emotion, becomes stirred up. So the reverse card can suggest a stormy journey, physically or spiritually.
In the reverse, this tarot predicts that an old aunt is busy making her will in your favour.
Time to suck up to your elderly relatives again. There's an inheritance on the way. The big takeaway for the Six of Swords is finding a safe passage from an unpleasant situation to somewhere more peaceful and harmonious, be that physically or mentally. The Six is what Rachel Pollack refers to as a gate card, in the sense that meditating on the image will take us beyond the surface meaning and into a much deeper experience. She says the Six of Swords is a gate. Looking at it with sensitivity and then entering the picture will produce at first a quieting effect on the mind, and then later, slowly a sense of movement within the self.
I wish I could travel to a distant shore. May the coming days bring you calm seas and new horizons. Until next time.